Short workouts are better than no workouts. Have you heard that? Have you said that? I'm going to beg to differ. Into this video, by then you will understand why something very specific in terms of exercise is much better than just random exercise. I'm Debra Atkinson. I'm the founder of Flipping 50, and for 40 years I've been working full-time, both with women, primarily in midlife, and with the trainers and coaches, fitness instructors who serve them. So I understand exercise in perimenopause and postmenopause and what we want and need as we age in order to age optimally. I'm going to teach you what I do. It's not just a something's better than nothing, but it's a this something is everything when it comes to how I age. All right, number one is warming up. Any good exercise instructor, medical exercise specialist, strength and conditioning coach, personal trainer better be telling you to warm up. And the higher the intensity of the exercise, the even more that is true. Here's how. I'm going to demonstrate, even in a 10-minute workout, we don't eliminate the warm-up, but we work it in a very precise way. Now, I'm 60. I don't want to be injured. And we get more concerned about that as we age. Am I right or am I right? It's not just, what do I do? Or I'm in a hurry and I'm going to skip that. Now we're thinking, I want to make sure I'm good and warmed up so that I get the most value out of the workout. Because did you know, if you increase your circulation and your respiration in the warm-up, you're actually using more oxygen during the workout. And your oxygen consumption is related to your energy expenditure, your calorie burn. Warm-ups just got more important, right? So take this example of how I'm warming up and watch. I start with lateral movements. Why? Because we always move this way. Even those of us who are walking, we're strength training, maybe we're running on an elliptical or a bike, that's all very linear. You're going to see me in this very first clip do lateral work, really, really important. Now, it may feel like you're back in the 70s or the 80s doing side steps in aerobics, and that's okay.
The first 3 minutes are 1 minute each of a side step, followed by alternating side lunges. Then we're going to finish with side lunges all to one side into a knee lift, working on dynamic balance. But notice, you're going to see this later when you're working a little bit harder, and it will be a little more challenging because of that.
Okay, now I'm going to plan my next move very strategically so that warm-up should always reflect what I'm about to do, and it did. Watch next as I take that into either faster movement or plyometric movement. And what this is giving me is power and agility. And these are two keys to aging with longevity. And I want you to think about if you're just walking, and walking is wonderful, by the way, not picking on it, but walking doesn't give you power if you're just walking at the same steady pace constantly. Occasionally we need to throw in some leaps, but also we're still doing this laterally. So we are also getting some bone density benefit moving sideways. Think about when you go to a basketball game or a football game or to a movie or an auditorium for the opera. You go into your seat and you crawl laterally over people, sometimes in shoes that look nice but are not really walking shoes. You know what I mean? And so we need some balance, we need some lateral work so that we're prepared to do it when we do it in life. And doing it with power gives you a little bit more agility, but it also pushes on the bone differently. So if you land here, we're always going forward. Generally, we're not going back. We're always putting the same kind of stimulus on the bone. And if we insert these lateral movements and we hop and move to the right and the left, we're getting a little stress on the bone in a different way. And that's all good. We want variety. So watch these moves as I add power, just a small hop. It's called a plyometric, and agility, quick moves, shuffling to the side, quicker, faster. Watch how this goes. Super simple to progress from that warm up.
Now in minute 4, you're going to take a little bit wider leap. So notice I'm leaving the ground. That's power. So side to side, wider steps, and leaping over as you can. Increase it. Now you can move it forward and back, but then watch. I'm going to take quick steps. Quick, 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 quick. Agility sneaks right in there. We've done a lot of things, even in the first few minutes.
Now remember, in the warm-up, we did lateral movement, side stepping, and we did an alternating side lunge. Easy, flat, not too high intensity, but the reason we did it is to prepare for this next move, where we get a little break from doing the agility and the power. You actually may also have gotten breathless, and you can check the box for HIIT, high intensity interval training, if you got breathless, or go hard enough so that you do. And now you're going to get a little break. So as I do side lunges but come up into a balance, we're doing dynamic balance. But beyond just the movement, so movement and into a holding position, as opposed to tree pose, stable, steady, static. This is moving into it, now holding it, wobbling, right? Or hopefully not. But you're also a little bit more off balance because you're a little more, your heart rate is up, you've been moving laterally, doing something higher intensity, and now I'm asking you to compose yourself and come into this move. That's strategic, that's on purpose, and you're going to get a better test of your dynamic balance by having to do that, to come down from, okay, I was moving fast and rapidly, now I got to center again and come right back here. Life is like that too. It will demand it. So why not practice it? You're going to do this for 30 seconds to a minute. So you're going to bring it up on one leg 30 seconds, do it to the other side 30 seconds. Take a look at how this goes. And watch me, it's not perfect. It bobbles a little bit. That means I'm getting a challenge. If you're absolutely stable, you need a harder move.
Now we bring back this dynamic balance, and here's the reason. You were just moving faster, and now I'm asking you to slow it down, get centered, and this makes it slightly more difficult, but this is really lifelike.
So next, you've had a little recovery. That little step was low intensity, high concentration and focus, but low intensity. You should be breathing pretty even. Now we're going to dial it up, and we're going to do a little plyometric. So I've got a mat out in the back. I'm jumping over it. You can pretend you're jumping over something. You can put a ladder over there. You can jump over that, or again, nothing. And low risk of injury if you have nothing sitting there. But watch how I'm jumping forward, doing a little more plyometric work. So I'm coming up and down. There's ground force in that. That's great for bones. But when you take off and you explode with those muscles, that's called power. Again, as we age, we're going to lose that power unless we're doing things just like this. So watch what else I'm doing. Instead of just jumping forward and forward, I'm jumping forward, turning around, jumping forward, turning around. So there's a lot of agility within this move. Again, no accidents. I'm having you do that on purpose. If you get dizzy easily, first of all, we want to look into why is that happening. But you could jump twice forward, turn around, slow down, make sure you're not dizzy, and then go again. But watch this. Again, it's power, a little agility because of the turning around, and potentially HIIT if you're doing this rapidly enough that you get out of breath.
Here's where we pick up the power. But we're also, as we do power, we're landing a little harder. That's ground forces, great for your bones. Now there's a little agility too, because I'm turning around, rapid change of direction.
From that ground force exercise where we were actually plyometrically jumping and landing for great bone density work, now we're going to bring this grounded. We're just going to practice a squat. So down and up, go the depth that your knees are comfortable with. Weight should stay on your heels. You're gonna swing with the arms. So you can swing them forward or back. When you sit down, your arms can go to the front or they can just swing. There's no right or wrong. But watch how we're doing prep for a move that we're about to do. Important that you realize we always need some kind of preparation for a big, intense move. So I'm gonna do a little bit of prep. It's also a little lower intensity, so we're catching the breath still. And then we're gonna pull it right into a plyometric, and you'll see both these moves, the prep and the jump, happen right away. We would do these for about 30 seconds to a minute.
Here we're preparing for jump squats. Those of you that can't jump or don't want to, you can continue to do squats on the ground. Range of motion is just what you're comfortable with, but you are getting a break from the plyometric you just did, and now we're adding power. We get ground force, and if you do 20 of these, you will be breathless, my friend.
Okay, now you're probably going to need a little break. If you're doing those plyometrics, you do even 20 of them, which is what I'm going to show or did, you're going to need to catch your breath. That's an intense exercise. Major muscles in your body, your glutes, your quadriceps, and your hamstrings are working really, really hard. So from here, you may take a little break before doing this next move. This is a split jump or a lunge jump. So one foot in front, one in back. Jump up to switch, jump up to switch. You're going to do about 20 of those with 1, 2, and so on. So you're going to do 20 of those. Again, by that point, you will be out of breath. So we've done HIIT in the last move. We're going to do HIIT again in this move. And we have done 4 sets of high intensity interval training. Even during this 10-minute stint, you have tapped into, this is great for your VO2. And if you're unfamiliar with VO2, what is that? That's oxygen carrying capacity. And that is a measure of our longevity. And that's not just how long are we going to live, it's how well. So the higher our VO2 max as we age, the more we can keep it elevated, keep it up there, the more energetic we're going to feel. We will not be the ones getting out of breath when we're going upstairs. You will enjoy your life far more and be at lower risk for cardiovascular disease.
Time again to add a little intensity with this power, ground force, and high intensity move, switching your lunge, jump lunge.
Now, that one did not take long to get out of breath, right? So if you did this with me or watching the video, you too got out of breath. What you're not seeing here is, all right, in between these, do I get 30 seconds? Do I get a minute? Here's what you get. If we go by the research, high intensity, not just interval training, but high intensity repeat training says you get to take the recovery that you need, even if it's up to 3 minutes. The interval still counts. You get the benefit of that high intensity interval training. And you and I could guess that it makes sense if we're 100% recovered, we are going to be able to work harder while we're doing that interval. What happens for those people who are trying to do an interval and barely recover is it starts to feel harder, but you're actually not working as hard. Potentially you're not jumping as high, you're not going as fast, or if it's resistance based, you're not able to lift as much or do as many. That's not what we want for you. If you're wanting to get the most fit, the strongest, have the greatest endurance, we want to make sure that you're fresh coming into that. So take advantage. Women in midlife, because estrogen declines, our connective tissue suffers a little bit and we're a little bit more vulnerable to injury. Now, that said, doesn't mean it's mandatory. Just means we need to take a longer warm up. Cool down will also help. We need prep before we do high intensity moves, and we need full recovery between those high intensity moves so we don't get sloppy and we don't lose form. Okay, now we're just going into the cool down essentially, but watch how it happens. This is not a walking around time to kill cool down. This is very purposeful 3 specific moves. So I am still moving. I'm going to do what I call spiders. I'm going to go right into another move, lying prone, belly down, reaching across my back with my opposite foot to touch my hand, working on spinal rotation and opening up through the chest. And then we end with one more for great posture. And you've shaken things up with so many pieces of longevity-based fitness that you may not be incorporating into your day-to-day.
3 moves left, and they're all nice. I'm playing nice. We're going to do a little rotation. I call these spiders. That first set, this is over and back, lying belly down. Try and tap your hand with your opposite foot. May not get there, but trying is good. We're getting some rotation. We're opening through the front of the body as we need to. Last but not least, we're going to end with a little posture. So upper back rounding, we want to avoid that if at all possible. This is a great way to do it.
There you have it. That's the cool down. And in 10 minutes or less, each of those moves in the warm up, probably a minute each, but some of those plyometric and high intensity interval moves, you're probably going to do 30 seconds and sometimes maybe less because you'll be getting to breathless. Remember, more isn't better. High quality, specificity is better. Let's make it effective. So in a 10-minute workout, you can get high intensity interval training, you can get power, you can get agility, you can get dynamic balance, you can get mobility, ground forces for your bone density, and inevitably there will be something that maybe doesn't work for you. Not every move is appropriate for every body, and certainly at every moment of your life. But take what does work. I'd love to hear from you below. How effective was that for you? Did it make sense what it is we're doing? And how does it compare to what you normally do? If you're used to lifting weights and you're doing that very linearly, and you're walking, you're doing bicycling, or you're doing elliptical training, that's all very linear, and life has a lot of direction changes. We need some rotation, we need some lateral movement, and you found it all right here within 10 minutes. So if you have very little time, you still have time to work on your longevity and your fitness level and do a little tune-up for consistency's sake. Let me hear from you. Don't forget, subscribe if this is helpful. Hit the bell. You'll get notified every time there is a new video. And let me hear what your greatest challenges are.
Make sure to subscribe, leave me a comment if this was helpful, and leave me a question if you have one.